A very sunny welcome to all of you out there in the world, hoping that you will watch my video. Today I would like to show you in a very short video how you can nicely make a front cut into a nice tunica. One of my fans from YouTube asked me about it, and there are so many different possibilities of doing it, but I will show one particular one which was shown in a Borda magazine from April 2016 with the pattern number 107. And I will show you exactly how that particular one was meant to be made. So, do you feel like doing something? Do you feel like working? I'll show you how to do it. Come along. As I don't have the original magazine from Borda with this particular tunica shown, I've done just a little bit of a tiny little drawing here so you can see what I'm talking about. It is the red marked part that you can see right here on my drawing. And as you can see, the front of the tunica does not have a seam down the middle. And this part is more or less, looks like it's been stitched on to make this nice neck design in the front. That means the front is cut in a fold, and just the part that you want to be open will be cut down the middle, which you can see marked with a black pen here. So in this video I will show you exactly how to do this particular sewing part, and then later on it's your decision if you like to put a neck color into it or if you leave the tunica without any color, which is also possible. That is not a problem whatsoever. But you can see here this definitely has been cut with in a fold, and here you can see I prepared already my front and I cut it in the fold. Now I marked the length down how deep I want to cut it in, and I decided I want it 16 centimeters open. So I marked it all the way down to the 16 centimeter and made a line across. Of course I connected it to make sure I'm really got a straight line towards the middle. As well with this you need a tiny little piece of an interface, which you do not have to do, but I really recommend you putting one on, because this is a weak point. You can make it smaller than I show it here to you, but as this is really from the cutting in, you will see that later, it is a very weak point, and if you put this interfacing on the left side on your material on, that will help it perfectly. As well, I cut 2 stripes, because each side of my stripe I want a finished width of each side 3 centimeters. That means the 2 parts that I cut are each 5 centimeters wide, and they're 20 centimeters long. I made them not only 1 centimeter covering my cut out, I made it slightly longer to go really underneath the cut we will have there later. And that is already all that you need for the cutting. So now I take my parts, go to my ironing, and I will first of all, as you can see here already, iron my interfacing on, and one of the sides of each of my long stripes I ironed already 1 centimeter over. Now I put them back together on the cut edges, not on the folded over ones, and I make myself a mark exactly in the position of the length of where I will cut in for the front. There I put a little mark in with my scissors as well, and that means after that I'm ready to go to my sewing machine. And here I cut it, I can stay 2-3 millimeters for the moment higher up. I can cut it on later to the exact point where I got to stitch to. But that is all the preparation, so let's go to the sewing machine. Take your 2 little stripes now and just close that little short bit that is left over underneath your 16 centimeters, which are staying over. Now you see, you take again your 2 stripes, put the left side down and the right side is facing you. Now take your front part and again have the right side of the material facing you, while the left side is down on the machine. I repeat, there you see both parts. The left side of the material is downwards and the right side is facing you. And if you just like to do a little test without even sewing, fold your little part over and you see then everything will be correct on the right side. So put edge on edge for the beginning and start stitching this 1 centimeter wide for the first, let's say, 10 centimeters of your 16 centimeters. Look right away for the bottom, because you got to stitch exactly into that corner of that tiny little seam you've just made. I'm still here edge on edge at the moment, but from approximately there like 10 centimeters, as I said, I start letting my front material run away from the edge, from the little stripe, because my cut in that I got there, which I just finished the last 2 millimeters, which I've left as I mentioned earlier on, I cut it all the way directly to where my end of my 16 centimeters is, and I put this cut in corner exactly onto my last stitch from that little seam on the 2 stripes that I've just made. And there you can see the material is running away from the edge of my stripe, but now sewing I still have exactly 1 centimeter to the cut edge from the stripe. So go all the way exactly to that cut open that you did, and it's got to meet the last stitch right there where you done this tiny little 4 centimeter seam approximately. It was, yes. Oh yeah, it was 4 centimeters. There you see. Exactly into that corner, and that's why this interfacing on the back is so good for it, because it's such a weak point. Now check it again. This has got to be all the way along 1 centimeter, and everything meets there in that corner. There we go. Now turn it over so the left side of all the materials are facing you, and all you have to do is turn that stripe around as you just seen that, and now you can see that is the next seam we have to do. We start exactly on that last stitch where we just finished, and there you can see already this material is not edge on edge, because it's exactly the same procedure as we've just done coming down the first side. So again, you start in that weak point corner area there, and now slowly have your edges running together until you get to the top. And again, all the way along, your stripe underneath has got to have a 1 centimeter seam. Otherwise, your turnover will be uneven. But we can check this already by checking again. Is this really nicely run away? Look at that. Evenly run away all the way to the top then until it meets there again. And now carefully pull your stripes to the right side of the material. Now you would have the choice to say, okay, I will go along the edges by just stitching over, or you just go on the ironing board, but I always like to stitch, as I say, against the seam, which means I'm putting now the seam to the big part, and I just go down on the left side of the material on my front part, and at the end there I don't even need to stitch back and forth. I just go out and I continue going now up on the other side. The seam is not lying towards the little part, it's lying towards the front, the big piece that we got there. And exactly there is where I'm stitching it down, because what's so nice about it, that edge looks as if it's not stitched over, but it lies beautiful flat when you're wearing this lovely tunica. Now you can see already, I haven't ironed it yet, but it's already lying very nice and flat. But now I go to the ironing board, and I also will iron that bottom part 1 centimeter over. Here we go. I've been to my ironing. Or do you just say iron? Iron. I've been ironing. Okay, sorry. And it's all perfectly flat. So I just go down that edge now. And here on the corners, make sure you turn them in very well to really get a nice right-angled corner, because otherwise that looks stupid. And go across, and here again you got the next corner. Push it in carefully. You don't want those corners sticking out anywhere. That would look unprofessional. And again, just stitch up on this edge. And there is your front neck part totally finished. Look at that. That's the left side, and it looks just as tidy. And there is your interfacing, which, as I said, you can make a little bit smaller, but I really wanted to point this out to you. That's why I made it that particular size. So now you see something. When this part is lying there like that, it seems to fold open towards the top. Well, there is a reason for that. If you think about it, we did cut this front in the fold. And now on both sides, you took a full centimeter of seam away on every side. And that is why automatically it's folding open. So even if now you stitch a color onto this as an example, the color will not meet directly in the middle together. There is a space because we used that seam away. We stitched it away. So that is something you got to know. But I will very soon show you in another video how you can do the same idea for this tunica with the seam all the way along going down. It's not cut in a fold then. And then all your parts can join together without this little opening there. Well, my friends, that is already it for today. That was my little sewing tutorial for you, how you can do a really professional looking neck opening, or how do you call that? It's a vent, it's a slit, yeah, something like that. Anyway, it's for a tunica, for a woman, for a man, for a kid's tunica. So I hope I could give you some idea how to tidy, cleanly stitch this edge. I'm wishing you a lovely day again, and I say hello to all my friends out there in this beautiful, big, wild world. Hope you come around again and give me your comments. I'm looking forward to it. Goodbye for now, and tschüss.